final countdown. Pi Network's $314,159 GCV goes live on November 22nd. The date is locked. The deadline is set. In just weeks, the old world's multi-trillion-dollar financial system must comply with a single, non-negotiable protocol. Billions of transactions will halt unless they speak the new language of money. This is not a choice for the banks. It is a global mandate. And the date that flips the switch on global banking compliance, the day the $314,159 GCV technically becomes feasible for every major institution on Earth, is November 22nd.
This isn't just about Pi Network anymore. This is about a monumental external deadline that Dr. Nicholas Kokkalis and the core team have been strategically building toward for years.
The question is, how did they know? And what happens when the entire global banking system is forced to recognize Pi's value on that exact date?
Hello, pioneers, and welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Nathan. I know many of you have waited years for this clarity. You deserve to understand what's really happening, and today you finally will.
For what feels like an eternity, we've navigated the rumors, the FUD, and the endless questions about Pi Network's true value and its mainnet launch. We've talked about the global consensus value, the groundbreaking vision, and the promise of a decentralized future. But today, we move past the speculation and into the undeniable reality of a ticking clock. The countdown is official. The date, November 22nd, has emerged from the intricate web of global finance as the single most critical, externally verified moment in the life of your PiCoin. We are in the final countdown to the full-scale activation of a globally compliant financial system, a system specifically engineered to integrate and recognize the $314,159 GCV. Before we dive deep into the proof, the implications, and what you must do, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with other pioneers so they don't miss what's coming next. Let's make the comments explode. Type November 22nd GCV and drop your country so we can see where our global pioneer family is tuning in from. Now, back to the bombshell. What is this mysterious global mandate that makes Pi's activation unavoidable? And why is this one deadline the single external proof that the GCV is no longer a community dream, but a fundamental banking necessity? Let's break it down. The absolute foundation of this countdown is something you've likely heard me mention before, but whose true significance is now undeniable. ISO 20022. Again, don't let the seemingly technical name confuse you. This is not just an obscure standard. It is the new, universal language of modern finance. It is the very backbone of global money movement for the 21st century. For decades, the world's money trundled along on slow, outdated, and frankly unsecure systems. Think of old telegraph wires transmitting financial data. These systems were inefficient, prone to errors, and incredibly vulnerable to attack. Global financial institutions, central banks, commercial banks, payment processors, all realized this was not merely a vulnerability, but an existential threat to economic stability. The system needed a complete overhaul. So they embarked on an ambitious project to create a new, modern, digital language for all cross-border and high-value domestic payments. ISO 20022. This protocol allows banks to send massive amounts of money instantly, securely, and cheaply, with rich data attached to every transaction. It's the difference between sending a handwritten note via pigeon and sending a secure, encrypted email with full transaction details and supporting documents. It is the new, high-speed, secure, digital highway for the entire global economy. Here is the critical, undeniable truth. The old system cannot and will not coexist forever with the new system. The institutions, led by global regulatory bodies and central banks, gave themselves a hard, non-negotiable cutoff date. A date by which every major bank, every payment network, and every significant financial intermediary across the planet must be fully compliant and transitioned to the new ISO 20022 standard. That final global cutoff date, the day the old financial pipelines are permanently retired and the new digital rails are fully operational worldwide, is November 22nd. This isn't a suggestion, it's a mandatory migration. Think of it like this: on that precise date, the old global financial highway is permanently shut down, and every single vehicle, every bank, every treasury, every digital asset must be ready to drive on the new advanced ISO highway. There is no grace period, no extension after this. Any institution not compliant by November 22nd will simply be unable to conduct critical international transactions. This is the non-negotiable mandate that provides the undeniable external proof that the GCV is real. Because a system as advanced, secure, and transparent as ISO 20022 demands a peer-to-peer digital asset that is equally compliant, equally secure, and equally global to act as its primary medium of exchange for the masses. And that asset, designed from its inception to seamlessly integrate with these new global financial rails, is unequivocally the Pi network. But how did the Pi core team, operating in what seemed like stealth for so long, perfectly synchronize their complex, multi-year development schedule, including KYC, mainnet, and Project Genesis, to align with this specific external banking deadline? The answer lies in their visionary strategy and the precise timing of their final compliance phase. This is not theory, this is implementation. November 22nd marks the end of delay. The Pi core team isn't amateurs. They are Stanford-trained, globally aware experts who understand macroeconomics, blockchain, and global financial systems at the deepest level. They didn't just stumble upon a great idea for a cryptocurrency. They meticulously designed a compliant, scalable financial structure intended to integrate with the impending New World Order. They knew the ISO 20022 deadline was coming, and they have been building towards it with surgical precision. This understanding is why their entire focus has shifted with increasing urgency to compliance, full decentralization, and the secure locking of the ledger. Every recent announcement, every push from the core team makes perfect sense when viewed through the lens of the November 22nd deadline. Let's connect the dots to recent developments you've witnessed firsthand. The accelerated AI-powered KYC. Why the relentless push to verify millions of pioneers and swiftly migrate them to the mainnet? Because every single person needs a verified digital identity to be legally compliant with the new stringent ISO 20022 standards. Your successful KYC verification is not just a gate to your Pi, it is your verified digital passport for the new financial system. The core team knew they had to hit critical mass before this deadline. The urgent testnet stage 2 upgrade/protocol v23. Why the constant urgent upgrades to the Pi node system and the push for full decentralization? Because for Pi to be universally accepted by regulated financial institutions post-November 22nd, it needs to be fully decentralized and secured by a distributed immunity. A truly decentralized system is inherently more resilient, transparent, and crucially more trustworthy to global regulators and central banks. This decentralization must be robust before the compliance hammer drops. Project Genesis and the Great Lock. This final migration wave, which we discussed just yesterday, is not merely another technical step in a long process. It is the ultimate legal and technical activation, the finalization of the blockchain to securely lock in the GCV into the mainnet structure. This ensures that when the external ISO 20022 deadline hits, the $314,159 value is stable, immutable, and technically ready for seamless, compliant, global transfer by any financial institution. It is the core team ensuring that Pi arrives fully formed, fully functional, and fully compliant on the world stage. The undeniable fact that the PiCoin team is strategically pushing these final steps, the rapid KYC, the node decentralization, the Genesis lockup, all in this narrow window of October and early November, is irrefutable evidence. They are not merely launching a product, they are meticulously aligning Pi Network's full activation with the mandatory November 22nd global banking compliance date. They are preparing the asset for a new global system that must accept it. Everything we thought was random now reveals its pattern. Every delay, every upgrade, every silence, it was all calibration for global readiness. This means the open mainnet is no longer a philosophical question for crypto enthusiasts, debated endlessly on forums. It is an engineered solution to a mandatory external deadline. The world's financial system must change, and Pi is designed to be the answer.
But for this massive global synchronization to work flawlessly, there is one final critical element that must be ready before November 22nd. And surprisingly, it relies entirely on the collective action of you, the pioneer. For the global banks and the newly compliant ISO 20022 system to instantly recognize Pi's value and utility on November 22nd, two fundamental conditions must be met. The entire Pi network must be demonstrably decentralized and operational. And every pioneer who wants to fully participate in this new era must have confirmed their individual commitment and compliance. This is where your final crucial role comes in. The core team has done their part, now you must complete yours. You need to ensure your personal compliance. Before the November 22nd deadline, I urge you to go into your Pi app and perform the 3 final checks. Final check 1, KYC status confirmation and expedited approval. Go to your mainnet checklist right now. Is step 6, migrate to mainnet, complete? If you are still awaiting KYC, understand that the AI-powered KYC is pushing millions through, but you must actively check for any requested liveness checks, data revisions, or appeals. Without a successful, verified KYC, your Pi cannot be legally compliant for the ISO 20022 system. It's your digital green card for the new financial world. The core team is doing everything possible to clear the backlog, but your active participation is vital. Check for that green completed status. Final check 2, wallet passphrase security and backup verification. This is non-negotiable. You must verify right now that you have securely backed up your 24-word wallet passphrase in multiple offline locations. The core team is in the process of burning the keys to central control, the great lock of Project Genesis. Once that lock is complete, no one, not even the core team, can recover your Pi if you lose your passphrase. The $314,159 GCV will be an undeniable reality, but it will be worthless to you if you cannot access your wallet. This is your personal responsibility. Do it today. Final check 3, lockup commitment review and confirmation. Access your Pi app and review your lockup commitment settings. Your commitment, whether 1 year, 3 years, or 5 years, serves a critical purpose for the network. It helps provide the fundamental stability, scarcity, and long-term vision necessary for the $314,159 GCV to function and be recognized as a stable, reliable digital reserve asset by the very financial institutions migrating to ISO 20022. Your lockup is a vote of confidence that bolsters the entire ecosystem. Confirm it. You aren't just verifying data, you're verifying destiny. Every click, every confirmation is a line written into the history of the world's first people-powered currency. Every completed step by every pioneer, every successful KYC, every securely backed up passphrase, every confirmed lockup commitment brings the entire Pi network closer to that mandatory November 22nd compliance date. We are literally counting down the days until the traditional banking world is forced to recognize the revolution we, the pioneers, have already built. The clock is ticking,
The global financial landscape is about to undergo its most significant transformation in a century. The date is logged. The GCV is ready. The only question that remains, pioneers, is are you ready? This November 22nd deadline for ISO 20022 compliance is not just a technical event for banks. It is the cosmic alignment that proves the Pi Network's foundational design was, from day one, intended for this very moment. It is the external validation that the $314,159 GCV is not a fantasy, but a strategic necessity for the new global financial infrastructure. For years, we've navigated the uncertainty. Now, we stand at the precipice of certainty. The final countdown is not just for the network, but for your personal financial freedom. Don't let this monumental date pass you by without ensuring your full preparedness. Complete those 3 final checks today. If this revelation has opened your eyes to the true significance of your Pi, then hit that like button right now. Share this video with every pioneer you know because time is of the essence. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? This channel is your essential guide through the final days of the old system and into the golden era of Pi Network. The future is not coming, pioneers. It is here, and it has a date. Years from now, people will look back and ask where they were when the world shifted, when the digital future finally replaced the old guard. And we'll be able to say, we were here, we saw it, we prepared. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next crucial update.